I don't know about you, but since I've been running, I've noticed that there are some people that just glide across the pavement. And it took me a really long time to realize it wasn't just about my strength and conditioning or my aerobic fitness. It actually came down to my running technique. So if you want to implement some quick and easy changes into your running style and get immediate results, then keep watching this video as we're going to go through the Physio Bros Head to Toe checklist.
The first tip is heads up, eyes up. When you're running, you should be looking at the ground about 10 meters in front of you as you run. You shouldn't be looking well out into the distance or looking at the ground directly at your feet. One of the big no's of running is leaning back too far. When you do this, your shoulders and center of gravity are too far back, and this ruins your body's ability to generate that forward momentum as you run. Essentially, this means that your hip flexors and other muscles are in overdrive to compensate for that, which means you end up getting sore and fatigued more quickly. So our strategy for you to maintain that forward momentum is to start your run with the MJ Michael Jackson lean. So the MJ lean, when you're starting, it's a really, I'm going to show you an exaggerated version, but it's a fall forwards and then start your run. When this is actually, when you're thinking about it practically though, when you're running, you just want to have that gentle lean forwards so that the weight's falling forwards to give you that better momentum.
The second tip is proud posture. As you're running, you want to try and keep your chest up and your shoulders gently back, and try and maintain the natural curvature of your spine. It is most important, however, to try and keep your shoulders relaxed through your running, as if you tense up, you'll deplete energy quicker, and it may impede your ability to maintain your breathing control. Most people who run with a rigid posture may end up with a very tight upper neck and back.
The third tip we've got for you is breathing control. Ultimately, do whatever works best for you and what makes you feel the most comfortable. If this hasn't been an issue for you and you haven't noticed any problems, then don't change a thing. But here's a few tips to get you started if it has been an issue. When you have upright posture, it really helps with lung expansion and your ease of breathing. So if you look at Dan right now, when he's slumped and breathing, his ability to expand those lungs is really reduced because it all just compresses in as you're hunched over. If you stand up tall though, as he said, shoulders back, chest up, your ability to expand your lungs actually improves so much. So personally, we find that pursed-lip breathing can really help get your breath back under control. As what it does, it slows your exhale down, and it also can help put some back pressure in and splint those small airways open. Another technique we've tried is rhythmical breathing, which we find that inhaling in 2 parts and exhaling 1 part, the breath in is quicker than the breath out. And again, this allows your breath to get it back under control. Lastly, with breathing control, if you've tried all these tips and you still can't get that breath back under control, then all you need to do is slow down. This ties back into aerobic training and thinking about you're just working too hard, so slow it down.
The fourth tip is all about hand awareness. One of the things that you want to try and do on your run is keep your hands down by your waist and your hands nice and relaxed. One of the things that we see quite commonly as people are running is they tend to swing their arms across their midline. This really disrupts your ability to generate forward momentum as you're pretty much swinging your body weight from side to side. What we like to do is try and draw a midline down through the center of your body. If you find yourself in your next run that your hands are crossing your body, then try this drill where you're going to point your thumbs up towards the sky. And as you're moving, you're going to be running with your hands and your thumbs pointing in line with your shoulder. This is going to try and help keep you moving in a more linear motion, and it's going to really help you improve your forward momentum.
A great exercise for you to see how important arm movement is and how bad you run if your arm movement's poor is this one. Run with your same arm and swing with your same leg, like this. It's just impossible to generate any forward movement. You can't run without good arm movement. The fifth and final tip of the Physio Bros Head to Toe checklist is being aware of your foot placement. Now we're going to split this up into 3 parts: your stride length, your cadence, and your foot strike. One of the age-old myths when people start running is their tendency to overstride or take long steps to make their running better and more effective. This is completely wrong though. Overstriding can increase the force going through your hips and knees, causing pain. Basically, it impacts your body's ability to properly absorb the load as you take each step through your joints. It also slows you down, because if your feet are too far in front of you when you overstride, it actually acts as that natural braking mechanism, because you lose that ability to generate that forward momentum and maintain it, so you lose that efficiency of your running. This leads into our next point, which is talking about cadence. Cadence is basically just the number of steps you take per minute. This is really important to know this concept because when you're feeling comfortable with your running speed and you're actually wanting to increase your running speed, we don't want you to increase the stride length, we want you to increase your cadence. By understanding the relationship between those 2 tips, cadence and stride length, This is going to make sure that you're gliding on your runs, not overstriding.
Looking at some of the literature, our personal experience, and based on our clinical knowledge, we recommend a midfoot strike. As you start running, the force that goes up through your joints significantly increases compared to when you're walking. So it's really important that you're accepting this load appropriately. To help you visualize this is what the 3 different foot strikes look like. First off, your heel strike. When you land on your heel, it is usually out in front of your body and your knee is typically straight. In this position, you lose your ability to utilize your calf as a shock absorber, as the force is going directly up through your heel, which means your foot has less ability to absorb that initial contact. This means the force will be transmitted into the ankle joint itself and then continue up into the knee joint. Now, if we go to the other end of the spectrum, the forefoot strike, it is basically landing on your toes, where you'll accept most of the weight at the front of your foot and then spring off. In this position, most of the force is absorbed by your calf muscle and less is then taken in by your knee. The problem with this is that your calves are a smaller muscle group and they will end up getting fatigued or cramp up quickly throughout your run. Now this brings us to our final type of foot strike, your midfoot strike. So this is the happy medium where by landing on the middle of your foot, it allows your ankle to be in a position where your calf muscle can contribute to force absorption, but not be overloaded. And your knee is in the right position where your quads and glutes can also work effectively to absorb as much force as possible. This creates a banger relationship between the ankle and knee, whereby you're running with the most efficient method, allowing you to run further and typically more comfortably.
Here's a quick recap of the Physio Bros head to toe checklist to improve your running technique. Make sure your head's up, have good proud posture, work on your breathing control, make sure your arms are moving in a linear pattern, make sure you use the MJ lean forwards to generate that good forward momentum, and utilize that midfoot strike.
Thanks for tuning in for another episode with the Physio Bros. It's been another great week.
If you're enjoying the program, make sure you subscribe, pound that like button, and as always, keep running.